In today's video, I'm going to be causing chaos at Ferrari's worst track, which is Singapore. But first of all, if you missed the previous video at Monza, I recommend going and check one out before seeing this one, because spoiler alert, I went up against my teammate Charles Leclerc, and for the second time this season, we brought home a 1-2, the other time being Belgium, but we are still behind championship leader Max Verstappen. Now, I talked about R&D in the previous video a lot. Yes, drag reduction. We have rear downforce on offer too. Not too worried about the brakes. I'd love to get Leclerc's looking at weight redistribution, so I'm going to wait for him. Major weight reduction would be fantastic too, but we're not too bad on the Sashi. I know we're fourth, but that gap is not as big as the gap on the aero side, personally speaking. Engine 2, we've got ERS. I mean, that would probably help us massively too, especially probably Brazil. All this is probably Brazil in mind, not so much at Singapore. So drag reduction 2 will try and bring us up. Look at that gap between ourselves and Red Bull and even McLaren out in front, although McLaren haven't really delivered as well. I'm also going to put a major ERS upgrade on too. They'll come in for Brazil, which should be out tomorrow as well. But that flat line has allowed Aston Martin to overtake us, so we are now the 5th fastest team on the grid. I'm hoping that when we get to Brazil, the other teams don't bring upgrades and then we shoot up the grid. Look at Toro Rosso go, 2nd fastest team on the grid. They haven't utilised that at all with their good driver like McLaren, have also brought an upgrade, as have Red Bull and Aston Martin. Renault, going ahead of Mercedes. So that just shows what poor season Mercedes are having. But whether or not their car will suit this track or not, obviously this is a much different track to what we had last time out. And yes, this is Ferrari's going to be Ferrari's worst track. Remember what happened with Mercedes, and obviously in 2023 with Red Bull, unable to win here. First lap was good enough for P14. The Audi needs to get out of the way. A little bit like Stroll on Verstappen in Friday's sprint qualifying session there, down the back straight there. I mean, I'm just going to say this. I thought Verstappen should have got out of the way there, just like that Audi should have got out of the way there, but we can't. There's going to be no penalty for impeding there, just like there was in real life. Sector 1 is good. I do have lower wings. I find it a bit weird with Singapore. Like, all the setups are like geared towards, as if as though that final bit with the straight line doesn't exist as well, which could have DRS. I think didn't have DRS or something, and obviously it's not DRS in the game. I can't quite remember. Anyway, as we go over the bridge and into that hairpin, they've got the 3rd DRS zone here off as well as move to the middle sector to see them slightly slower than lock-on. Now this is the section I've got lower wings for though, because obviously this isn't a straight line bit. Using a bit of overtake that I've saved, I'm going to turn a bit of it tense up to move towards the final couple of corners as well. Singapore used to be a good track for me, but when they changed the curve profiling, it didn't become a good track for me. So as we come up now to the final corner, across the line, a 4/10 improvement, and that will be good enough for P15. So yes, Leclerc is only P8. So bearing in mind that, you know, Mercedes not had a good track, although Lewis is still in P11. Mercedes are on the front row. Science with a shocker too down in P13. So yeah, I've got a lot of work to do in order to try and bring this car back to where it needs to be. We'll see what we can do then from 15th place on the grid. It is time for the race, so for today's Singapore Grand Prix.
It's the Singapore Grand Prix, where Sebastian Vettel has the most wins here with 5. Who will be lifting the trophy today here at the Marina Bay Circuit? This is a wonderful racetrack to come to, but it's sometimes been a bit tricky to overtake. We have a new layout to try and change all of that. Reduced to 3 miles, it's turn 16 and turn 19, which has gone from corners to a straight. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. George Russell will begin today's event in pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Fernando Alonso, Tsunoda, Perez, Stroll, Leclerc, Norris, Albon, Hamilton, Oscar Piastri, Gasly, Sainz, Ocon, Phoenix, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Teo Porcher, Joe, and Ollie Behrman. That's it then. It's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. Welcome to the commentary box and welcome to Naomi Schiff. I'm Alex Jakes. Naomi, this is going to be interesting. Well, it's all about forgetting last time because that was a bit of a shocker. How did they change the story today?
It is true, they had a really tough day in the office last time out, but they cannot dwell on that. It's so important.
We need a good result today if we want to catch Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship.
I know, Mark. I know my objectives. You don't need to remind me. Yes, we need a good result here. You know, the gap is 19 points in the championship. If we need a Zandvoort miracle here in order to not Verstappen. Watching that, he's on the front row. I'm down in P15 as well. Everyone else apart from Perez on softs there. So I'm going to start mediums to go with Perez. See what Perez is cooking in the McLaren. The favourite lights are out, and away we go. The Singapore Grand Prix, well, it's not the best of starts. Ran on the Toro Rosso move away. I'm going to drive down the outside there. Oh my goodness. I don't know how many positions we made. That must be at least 5 or 6 going down the outside. They're just all decided. Now we're just going to go to the inside line there. As well as Alonso does me a favour. Gets in front of Max Verstappen. The more cars in front of Verstappen, the better for me, personally speaking. And now I've got to try and get in front of Hamilton. Already up to P10, so I'm already in the points. That is a good start. As well after the, good first corners. I'm going to dive it in between Hamilton and Albon and up to P8. That's a lovely little move there to get in front of Albon and Hamilton. They were too busy squabbling. We can't be stuck behind the Williams. Especially think the Williams is probably not great around here, just like the Ferrari here as well. And Albon is going to have a go at Hamilton into the middle sector too, which will try and give me a bit of breathing room too as well. But Hamilton's going to have the better traction in the pink Mercedes. Round the outside here, and Albon yields the position. Up at the front then, it's still business as usual. The top 4 now got a gap, and Leclerc and myself are both starting to struggle in P7, P8 too as well. And that is, I'd love it if Perez there, he's caught up to Verstappen. I do wonder if the mediums are now the better tyre as well. Verstappen and Leclerc are in for their stops. That's interesting to see that Leclerc has undercut everyone else as well. I'm going to come in the end of the next lap number 8. Sorry, not the next lap, the lap after lap number 8. Excuse me, that was the end of lap 6 on 7 as well. Can we have a good stop, please, Ferrari? That would be nice. Perez has actually gone onto the hard, so he's not actually cooking after all. 2.4 second stop, that's not too bad as well. The Toro Rosso is going to come out in front of me on the medium tyres. So, yes. Now it's just trying to see what pace I've got on the soft tyres. I have a tyre, obviously it's the compound offset, but I don't know how I've got a warning for putting a dip in the tyre over the line. That's really nothing. That's just a bit of understeer there. Too is up at the front. Then, annoyingly, Verstappen has jumped Russell in the pit stop. So Alonso is in this career mode. He hasn't won a race for 13 years. That could be broken in today's video as well. I'm going to catch up to Tsunoda around the outside of my ex-teammate from season 2. And it's a lovely little move here. Here's a replay as well with DRS using the straight line speed that the setup has too, because obviously it's awful through the corners as well. However, as I'm going to go and set fastest lap, 29.4, I'd love to be able to keep that pace up and catch Stroll, Perez too, and even Leclerc. But no, I have not. The rears have just decided to die, and to be honest, it's time to cause some chaos. I just, yeah, let's see what chaos I can just cause, slowing us up. I mean, I'm hoping for a safety car too. That would be nice. I think if we have a safety car or a red flag, then that would be good too, as that is Tsunoda. He's crashed into the back of me, I think, as well. Look at the rear tyre wear, even trundling around. You know, it's just, the rears are just not good for me, personally speaking. You know, they're going to go over the 25% sector as well. There's more contact with Tsunoda. We're going to try and force them out here. Look at that slide already through the final corner. So we move to like 15 then. Around the outside of Tsunoda, I think. I'm not going to have a DRS, no, but I've got plenty of battery anyway. As well, I'm just going to let lift off. I could have easily have run away. I think Tsunoda has front wing damage too from hitting the back at me, and then we're just going to slow it down. Nice pedestrian street. I'm taking the sights of the city of Singapore here with the lights too. As well, you can see Stroll only 50 seconds up the road. I'd love to be at that. Oh, what on earth has been left? You can see on the mini-map, a lot of people have been left at that corner. What's going on here? So they're going 3-4 wide here and reversing. What on earth is going on here? That is just chaos. I've caused chaos here. As well, we'll slow up. Don't worry, we'll slow up and let the rest of them catch up. As well, Tsunoda's gone to the back of me for the umpteenth time now. Again, the AI don't have very good spatial awareness on this game. They can be quite stupid sometimes. And at this hairpin, well, yeah, Tsunoda. That doesn't feel nothing for me, but if you ride on board with Yuki, he's hit the back of me. I mean, I'm lucky not to have a puncher, and then he's hit the back of me there. He doesn't actually have a front wing lift, so he'll be coming into the pits, actually, which, you know, I didn't want him to come into the pits because obviously I've cut off Norris there now. Albon's had a lock-up. That's going to cost him points too, as I'm going to come across the line. Alonso has won this race. I'm going to finish P7. Yeah. That is not good enough. You know, the pace was awful here at Singapore. I kind of expected it, to be honest. It's just where the AI are here. They're just overpowered around this circuit. They do need to be addressed. Hopefully they have been looked at for F125 around this circuit, because it's not great. But fastest lap. Just having fastest lap by a tenth of a second does give me an extra point, but for Verstappen getting P2, that is not good. It means that he will extend his lead by 11 points. So that could be championship over. 30-point gap now. It's not great, to be honest. Yeah, Leclerc, I could do with some help from Charles, to be honest. He does need to get in front of Verstappen when I'm not able to. We will try and bounce back at Brazil. It is not the end of the world in the constructors. 6 points is the gap. So, if we can't get the drivers, at least we should be able to get the constructors. We have a new rating rivalry with Sergio Perez. So, we're both 88 rated. My racecraft is up to 94 now. Pace is up to 85 because I set the fastest lap too. So yes, in terms of recognition rate, we're 51.49 now ahead. As we trying to head towards 60%. I don't think we'll get it before the end of the season, to be honest. There's only 3 races left of this career mode. In terms of the specialists, I mean, it's just as business as well. But that wasn't a good result for the championship. It needed a lot better in order to challenge Verstappen. And yes, Verstappen hasn't won since Austria. I need to win in Brazil, and Brazil is not an easy track for me. Portugal also need to win there. that's going to be a bit of an unknown. The final race at Portimao, and then obviously Vegas can be a good track for me, but we'll have to wait and see. We've got the straight line speed. I think, you know, with the upgrades that we're going to be bringing to Brazil, hopefully that's going to be enough to get his victories in those final 3 races. And hopefully Verstappen ends up in the mud. Those 3 episodes will be out next week, starting tomorrow actually, excuse me. Alonso, fair play to him. He deserved a victory. You know, the car's good in those slow speed areas anyway. So, but yes, that's where I'm going to leave it today's video. Have enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe to me to the channel, see plenty more F124 and F125 driver career mode videos as when they come out. Until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care, thanks so much for watching, enjoy your day, and goodbye.